Welcome to the Haven Collective. I'm J.R. Forasteros, and this is the Beacon Bit. Today we're talking about Matthew 2, verses 12 through 23. It's the flight to Egypt and the slaughter of the innocents, which are two parts of the Christmas story that we really don't like to explore. But that's where the lectionary takes us today. This Sunday, when we gather in our beacons, will be the fourth day of Christmas. So I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas season and celebrating the good news that Jesus is with us. Today, we're going to explore that by talking about the movie Elf, which is one of those Christmas movies that never explicitly references the Christmas story and yet has become very beloved. It's about this human who is raised at the North Pole, played by Will Ferrell. Buddy calls himself Buddy the Elf, even though he's not actually an elf. And he decides to travel to New York City because he finds out that his father is on the naughty list, and he's decided he's going to save him. And a lot of the humor comes from the way that Buddy interacts with the cynical world of New York City, even at Christmas time. Buddy comes across as naive and a little dumb, but I think that's the beauty of the movie, is that he's actually neither of those things. What Buddy actually is filled with hope. He comes into a world that is full of cynicism. Even his romantic interest is largely cynical, and she won't sing because she's embarrassed to sing, even though Buddy assures her that the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing loudly for all to hear. It's not enough for her. She can't bring herself to do that because she has her own wounds, let alone her dad, who has become this sort of vindictive, win-at-all-costs publishing type person who has lost the childlike sense of joy that Buddy has, even though he is a children's book publisher. I bring all of that up because I think it's a really interesting look at the dichotomy that we experience during Christmas time. Lots of our Christmas celebrations can come across as saccharine, as overly sweet, sort of like putting maple syrup on spaghetti noodles the way Buddy does, right? You just wonder, like, how much sugar and sweetness can we possibly pack in? It's no wonder that even though Christmas is still going during the 12 days of Christmas, most of us are ready to call it quits by the 26th because it's been jammed down our throats since Thanksgiving, or sometimes even before that, right? And we've had so much sweetness that we can't take it anymore. I understand that. I really do. And I get the sort of cynicism that comes from seeing the world that way, that Christmas is a nice idea and peace on earth and goodwill to all people sound good in songs, but they're just not realistic. And so we shove them away and we get cold and cynical, afraid to sing loudly, afraid to take a risk that the sort of childlike wonder that we vaguely remember could be the real meaning of Christmas. And that's why I think it's important not to skip past the Holy Family's flight to Egypt and the slaughter of the innocents that we see in the readings for this week. Because it's important to remember that when Jesus came among us, he came to the most vulnerable. He came to people who could not defend themselves, who had no choice but to flee political violence as refugees and put themselves at the mercy of another culture and another country. And even when they were able to flee safely, there were another number of people who experienced that violence, who in fact were not able to flee the way the Holy Family was. And so we have the Herod giving the order to kill all of the male children in Bethlehem who are 2 years old or younger, which is how old he estimated Jesus to be based on the report of the Magi who visited him, right? And so this is what we have at the heart of the Christmas story. Yes, we have the beautiful nativity moment of the shepherds meeting the Christ child and Mary treasuring these things in her heart, and the shepherds going door to door announcing that the Messiah has been born. But then we also have this. The fact that a new king of the Jews has been born is a threat to the current king of the Jews and to the political powers of the day, of reaching all the way back to Rome. And so there is a concerted effort by those powers to stamp out this new young life. And it doesn't only affect the Holy Family, it affects many other vulnerable people too. I don't know how you can possibly treat the Christmas story as saccharine when this violence and this terror is so close to the heart of the story. And it's something that Jesus himself experienced. It's something that Joseph and Mary experienced. It's something that the people of Bethlehem, many of whom probably remember the shepherds coming to their door and announcing the good news of the Messiah's birth, something that they all experienced. These people were all scarred by what happened. They were all scarred by Jesus's birth. And yet it is still the good news that Jesus came among them. He did not abandon them. He dedicated his entire life to bringing good news to these people, to facing off against the violence that tried from the day of his birth to stamp him out. That's the kind of clear-eyed attention that the Christmas story invites us to. And I think when I go back to Elf, right, it's the same kind of thing. Buddy is well aware that he's not really an elf. He is well aware that his parents abandoned him and that he has not had a relationship with them. And yet he's still able to choose joy because Santa chose him. Santa loves him. Santa raised him, and Santa sent him with this mission. I think that's a beautiful, powerful thing that we see, and it's Buddy's commitment to choose joy, not a naivety, not a naive optimism, but a conscious choice to be joyful in the midst of a cynical world that is able to transform his family that he's reunited with, and ultimately, of course, save Christmas, because it is a Christmas movie. So I want to talk about what this sort of committed optimism looks like in our beacons this week. I want to talk about how we take seriously the violence and the pain in the world, even as we celebrate joy to the world because the Lord has come. I think this is going to be a wonderful conversation. I can't wait to have it with you. Merry Christmas. I hope you're still continuing to celebrate. Grace and peace be with you.